This is Matthew Nanes from Chapters Creative, and welcome to the Chapters Creative Conspiracy. Doing the podcast a little bit differently. Last week, I had Pamela King on, talk to her about her story and how to integrate it with her business. And today is a little bit different. We're getting a little heady today. I want to talk about the idea of KATABASIS. We were like, what the hell is that word? But I'm a big hero's journey person, if you're familiar with me at all. But it all started with this book that I was told to read, and I bought it. It's called KATABASIS from R.F. Kuang. It's a fiction book, but because basically, like, I was sold on it to being like, it's a descent into hell by these like scholars, and I'm like, okay. Nerdy things in hell, I'm in. But inside the jack of the book, it says, KATABASIS is a noun in the ancient Greek, is the story of a hero's descent to the underworld. And I'm like, I've been there. we've all been there. I think we're in that space right now as a culture where we're just like, we're in some sort of hell right now. Hold up, I interrupt my own conversation to tell you that if you're enjoying this, if you're learning something, and if you're like, hey, that Matt guy can help me, well, I invite you to contact me and let's talk about the brand narrative workshop. So with 3 hours, I sit down with you using a modern version of the hero's journey. I sit down with you and clarify your brand messaging, your positioning, and also take a look underneath the hood and seeing if how you're getting customers and how you're getting deals, if that's working out for you. So if that is you, if you need help with your own business and you're questioning, am I saying the right things? This is for you, the Brand Narrative Workshop. So go to chapterscreative.com, reach out, and I can help you. Now back to the show. But I want to talk about this a little bit more. And okay, well, you defined it a little bit earlier, Matt, as far as like being a story of a hero's descent into the underworld. Let's talk about a little bit more, because the descent into hell is usually like in the story like Dante's Inferno or the Odyssey, or even you can consider like Jonah and the whale in the Bible, some sort of version of this. It's the idea you're going to hell to get something to come back, to have some sort of like revelation. So as far as like other examples of KATABASIS in Greek mythology is Orpheus. I'm getting this from Wikipedia right now, who enters the underworld in order to bring Eurydice back to the world of the living. Odysseus, who seeks to consult the prophetess Tiresias for knowledge. And, Dante's Inferno, kind of like, I'm joking when I say this, but like he literally goes to hell to talk shit on his enemies, among other things. But I think it's really interesting because there are certain times in our life where we're kind of forced upon like a journey, if you're like, an artist or in your business, where you really have to dig deep in order to come back like a better person, or in a better solopreneur, or whatever it is. You're going into the depths of hell to learn a lesson of some sort. And so for myself, the biggest, I think, as far as like what sparked my own journey, by the way, the word like journey, it's so woo. I mean, I like some woo things if you know me really well, but I also push back on it well. So words like journey, like I try not to use it too much. But in 2018, I was laid off from my most favorite job I've ever had, and it really sent me on this path of really figuring out like who I was and what my life is all about and what my purpose is. And so it really put me on this like self-reflective path where I'm just trying to really learn myself. And I still think I'm on that path a little bit. Like me doing this like podcast is like a part of like the journey, like relaying like what I've learned, and especially like through my business, so, as far as like building brands and things like that. But I think, like I was saying earlier, like our Western culture is going through a state of katabasis because I feel like with the rise of AI and all these companies laying people off, those jobs like are not going to come back. So like you have a whole workforce who are being forced to go on this journey of trying to figure out like, okay, if I don't have my job, if I don't have my career, who am I? So for me, I think what's really interesting is that like we need to seek out like our own our own ways of trying to do this. Is like for instance, Virgil in the Aeneid, Dante in the Dante's Inferno, like Virgil is like the guide through hell, right? So it's like, okay, who are our guides through hell? And of course, like I'm positioning myself as a guide because I've been there. Like I'm 8 years removed from like when this all began for me. Of course, I didn't like fully go into working for myself until January of 2022. But I really think that for people who don't have that entrepreneurial bone in their body, and I say the word entrepreneurial not from a place of like entrepreneurship, as far as it being kind of like reserved for stuffy business people, but I really feel like building a vocation for yourself that's separate from the 9 to 5 world, it might be the way to go for a lot of us, but there's a big learning curve when the goal has always been like, I'm going to find a 9 to 5 and I'm going to stick with it. And, this company is going to be loyal to me. And that just doesn't exist anymore. Like for me, both my parents were in the military for 20 plus years, both of them. And I see people like athletes that I grew up watching, like a Karl Malone or John Stockton, or you can even say like Michael Jordan, who have been with like one singular team for the vast majority of their careers. And that's what you aspire to. Like, oh, I'm going to retire. They're going to take care of me. Well, we all are now learning in this world that no real company is going to take care of you. Of course, there are unions whose whole job is to watch out for you and take care of you, and I'm very pro-union. But it's in this descent through hell where we're trying to seek out this knowledge and learn something and go through these ordeals, these trials, that we're going to come out better people in ourselves, and like understanding, like, and have this like great realignment almost of values and how we make money and relate to other people. So of course, like that, like even lately, I'm kind of rethinking how I feel about like branding from like, okay, do I really want to help businesses? Of course, it's like the larger ones, like the larger for-profit ones, find out what their personality is. Like even though that would make me the most money, like try to target these massive companies. But what effect am I putting on the world? Like when I'm working with these companies who may or may not have the best interests of the world in mind, especially like an AI company or something like that. It's like it's really important to do the inner work of figuring out like your own values and what you're good at, what you want to bring to the world, and what can still put food on the table for your family. So this is going to be really short, but all that being said is like, if you're finding yourself in a place where you're in the belly of the whale, you're in hell, you're trying to find that guide to help you figure out how to navigate this new world, just really be thinking of your own values. Be thinking of the things that you want to bring into the world. For instance, some ideas I've had for myself lately, something I kicked around a bit, but like, wouldn't it be great if like 5% of what I made like went to buying banned books? Because chapters creative, like I'm a big reader. I believe in literacy. I believe in thinking for yourself. And it's like, okay, well, what if I made that available to us, to not to us, but to the world at large through my work? So that's one thing. Like, what's a positive change I can do for the world through what I do? And also just like I said, also thinking about the realignment of what we expect from our vocations, from our work. Because I believe that humans, it's just a natural part of what we do. Like we just work. So yeah, if we know that this culture isn't going to support people as far as like the corporate culture, the government is not interested in taking care of people. So what does that mean for ourselves? Like to pay off our debts and feed our kids and feed ourselves and our pets. So the journey into hell, the KATABASIS, I mean, it's not fun. I can tell you that for sure. But I do think once we come back up from hell, like the word for coming back up is the anabasis. It's the going up from hell to show people like what you've learned and what you grabbed and what you can bring back to help your community. So anyway, just a thought. Like I didn't have any notes for this other than like having like the Wikipedia for the word KATABASIS up. But I hope this was helpful for you in some way, my musings. And yeah, I really like this low key way of doing this podcast too, along with other conversations I have with people. But if you're finding yourself in your own KATABASIS, your own journey through hell, trying to figure out how to go forward in this world through what you do for work and how you want to present yourself, I'm your guy. Just hit the link in the bio for the brand narrative workshop. If you reach out and you tell me you heard it from the podcast, I'd be happy to give you half off. Just as a thank you for spending time with me. So today is Monday. Happy Monday. Go forth. and just do some good, meaningful work and have a meaningful life. So, and always remember, like the mug says, there's a narrative of this world that wants you to be good and, be good for the corporate overlords. But the big part of what I do is encouraging people to reclaim a narrative maybe of something that they have forgotten. So anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Thanks a lot, and we will see you another time.